Good day, folks. After a series of pretty difficult lessons, we got an easy one here. We're just going to be creating a camera that's going to track our main character. We're also going to set up a bounding box so the camera can't travel outside of a specified area. And yeah, it's pretty easy compared to what we've been doing. So let's go ahead. First of all, we're going to be installing a component. It's going to be called Cinemachine. So we're going to go ahead to make sure we have Unity window selected. We go here to Window, and then we're going to go to the Package Manager. Okay, it's going to bring up this screen. That's going to, first of all, for you, it's probably going to bring up all of the packages that are already installed with the project. So the packages that kind of come with it. So you're going to want to, like, typically the default setting here is it will go to packages in project. And these are the different packages that are in the project already. So we're going to go ahead where it says packages in project. We're going to select Unity Registry. And we're going to be going ahead and scrolling down to Cinemachine, and we're going to just click on Install. It takes a while for this to install, so I'm going to pause my screen while that installs. Okay, and we're back. So we've got our Cinemachine installed, and now we're going to go ahead and work with our actual project. So let's go ahead and check that out. It takes a little bit for it to load then. Okay, so when I did my practice run for this lesson, I had some difficulties with getting my main camera to behave as it's supposed to. So just in case, so that we're all on the same page, let's go ahead to main camera. This should already sort of come built in with your project. And then where it says camera, I want you to click on these dots here. I want you to say remove component, and then just go ahead and do add component, and then just say camera. And for now, just leave these, well, actually, no, let's go where it says projection. We're gonna set this to orthographic. There's some good information related to like the orthographic versus perspective in the linked text instructions. I would recommend checking those out, but for our purposes, as far as building this game, since it's a 2D game, we're just gonna set it to orthographic, okay? Anyways, now that we have our sort of camera set to our default settings, we should be good to go ahead, and we're going to add a new component called, and it's going to be, sorry, we're going to go ahead to Cinemachine. I apologize. Cinemachine, and we're going to click on Create 2D Camera. This virtual camera, you can have like multiple virtual cameras, like let's say, as sort of the text instructions note, like if you were doing a 3D game and you wanted to have kind of like a back and forth between characters, that's sort of like, let's say during like a dialogue sequence, you would have you'd be switching from the cameras back and forth. This would be one of the sort of things that you can do with that, okay? What we'll do then is we'll make sure that our lens is set to 5. Okay, and then I have my near clip plane set to 0.3 and my far clip plane set to 1000. So for me, those are default settings, yeah, just make sure you have those set up. The next thing we're going to do is where it says follow. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, let's set this back to the virtual camera. And then if we want to, we can just lock this really quick. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to click and drag where it says follow Ruby. Now what that's going to do, if we play the game, it's going to follow that user, okay? And if we go here to main camera, will that give us that weird sort of thing there? Yeah, so we can sort of adjust this bounding box when we sort of get to later. That just is giving you a sense as far as like where the camera is sort of tracking and kind of like where it's going. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, for me, I didn't really put much in my scene. We want to go ahead and make it so that the scene is a bit bigger. Okay, so if you already have sort of a larger kind of like map already sort of drawn out, you can sort of skip this part coming up here. So I'm going to expand this out a little bit, and then I'm going to set a set of water tiles as a border. Okay, So to do that, reminder, just go ahead to your window, 2D, and we'll just call that the tile palette, okay? And I'm actually going to go side by side so I can grab these. I'm going to just make it very simple, and I'll just hurry up here a second because imagine a lot of you have already have this sort of set up, and I'm just going to add just a little bit more to our map. Oh, I didn't make it symmetrical. I will need to do that. There we go. Okay, almost done. Sorry, folks. And I didn't select the right tool. All right, box. There we go. And now, last thing is I will add a set of just water tiles. Let's just do it like that. You could do the whole kind of blend it so like the water looks good. For our purposes though, would just be good like that. You know, typically we should do the sort of like the blending, so like as it transitions from one to another. It's not a big problem though. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be adding and this was new to me. I had not worked with extensions before. I've only worked with components. So make sure we have here in the virtual camera is selected, and where it says extensions, go to select, and then it's going to be Cinemachine Confiner. All right. Now the Cinemachine Confiner accepts as a parameter as basically a 2D object. Okay. In this case, it's going to be we're going to be drawing a polygon. So we're going to go ahead and create, so let's go to Game Component, Create Empty. We're going to put it at the very top above Ruby, okay? And then what we'll do is, let's make sure we're not locked here again. This game object, we're going to go ahead here and just set it so that it is, as far as a component, it's going to just be a polygon collider 2D. Polygon collider 2D. Okay. Now what we'll do, let me just move this over here a second. What we're going to do is edit this polygon. Am I editing the polygon right now? There we go. All right. We're just going to go ahead and draw this polygon so it's basically around the border that we've established. And you can you don't have to be super careful with this. Bring this in a little bit. There we go. That's fine. Okay. We will now go to our virtual camera. Oh, and let's rename this to this game object. Let's call this Confiner. Okay. All right, so that's Confiner. Let's go to our virtual camera, scroll all the way down to that extension, and then we're going to click and drag our Confiner to the bounding shape. Now, the problem is that this is basically being interpreted now as a object that Ruby cannot like pass through. So if we play the game, it's not going to work. The reason being is that it basically has it's like, oh, there's a shape I can't, or sorry, there's an object I can't move. So we're going to take advantage of the fact that we can have layers. And these layers can have specific interactions as far as the physics engine with each other, okay? So we're going to go ahead to our Confiner. We're going to go to Layer. We're going to go to Add Layer. We're going to call this Confiner, okay? And then go back to our Confiner, set that layer to Confiner, and now we're going to go ahead to our project settings, okay? Oops, Edit. Project settings, and I gotta bring this over, and we're going to be working with our physics 2D. So go to physics 2D, and so for Confiner, uncheck all of these boxes. We don't want the physics to be working, we don't want the physics to basically take anything into account as far as our the bounding box. So we've got Confiner, that's good there. So now the camera follows Ruby, but then the camera does not go outside of that, like the water area. So that way that we kind of set it up so that Ruby is able to, the camera tracks Ruby, but then the camera does not go outside of that box, okay? Okay, folks, that's it for this one. Pretty easy. Nice change of pace. I wish you the best of luck. Good stuff.